Real quick before the video starts, I have a new channel based around green text stories on 4chan, and I'll be uploading videos daily over there. If you're interested, I'll leave a link to the channel in the description. Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm Michael, and we're going to be getting right back into some more Reddit stories. If you enjoy the video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Now, without further ado, let's begin. This story was posted by a user named Brightreach in the AIO subreddit. The post is titled, "My boyfriend is secretly talking to his exes. I, a 24-year-old woman, have been dating my boyfriend, a 27-year-old man, for almost a year. Things were great at first, but over the last few months, I have noticed small things like him hiding his phone screen when I walk by or even turning off notifications. Recently, I found out he is still talking to one of his exes, not just casual messages like, 'Hey, hope you're doing well,' but late night conversations, jokes, and even calling him by a pet name that they used to use. The girl even sent a flirty selfie. When I confronted him, he said I was blowing things out of proportion and that they are just friends. But if that is true, why hide it and delete messages? I do not want to be controlling, but I feel disrespected. He says I am being insecure and paranoid, but my gut says otherwise. Am I overreacting for feeling betrayed and thinking about ending things over this?" First of all, thank you to everyone who commented, even the brutally honest ones. I needed that wake-up call more than I realized. I spent so long trying to rationalize his behavior, convincing myself I was being too sensitive, that I forgot what it actually feels like to be respected and emotionally safe in a relationship. So after my original post, I decided to sit down and have a real conversation with him. Not a confrontation, but a calm, direct talk. I asked him straight up, "Why are you still entertaining flirty conversations with your ex if you say you love me? Why the secrecy?" And of course, he gave me the usual gaslight parade. "You're blowing this out of proportion. She's just a friend. You're overthinking again." But this time I did not fold. I did not get defensive or cry. I just looked at him and said, "You clearly care more about keeping this connection alive with your ex than being honest with me. I am done." And y'all, he had nothing to say after that. Just silence. I packed my essentials that night and stayed at a friend's place. I did not block him, but I muted everything. No more back and forth. No drama. Just silence and peace. I am not going to lie, it still hurts. Almost a year of my life, and I feel like I never really knew who he was. But weirdly, I feel more powerful now than I have in months. Like I finally chose me. If anyone else reading this is in that same confused, gut-screaming space, listen to it. People who love you will not leave you guessing. Thanks again to everyone who helped me see what I was refusing to admit to myself. Mediocre Nectarine said, "Someone capable of critical thinking and a sense of self-worth this early in the morning? Wow, good for OP. Puguki said, "Her decision was probably solidified when this man most likely went back to his ex and kept trying to turn her into his new late-night sexting girl. They always do." This next story was made in the AITA subreddit by a user named Forsaken Many. The post is titled, "I told my dad his whole family is dead to me after what they did to my mom. Burner account because I am paranoid. I am a 22-year-old woman who has always been more attached to my mom, who is 45 years old, than to my dad, who is 56. After my teenage years, my mom and I became best friends who tell each other everything. A bit more context. My mom is a stay-at-home mom and has no career because my dad forced her to leave university when she got pregnant with me. So she fully depends on him and whatever little I give her from my own salary. No one on my dad's side liked my mom at first, and when she got pregnant with me, everyone in that family tried to convince my dad to leave her because she would only bring trouble or whatever lame excuse they came up with. As you can guess, he did not listen, and that is why we are here, 22 years later. To make a very long story short, my mom tried to set a boundary after my uncle invited us to his kid's birthday party, but seated me, my mom, and my brother at a far table while the rest of the family sat at a large table. My mom sent a message saying she deeply respected and loved them, but she could not ignore the blatant disrespect. This became a big issue with my uncle and aunt from my dad's side insulting her, spinning their own narrative to anyone who would listen, and ostracizing her from their side. They said some vile things like how my mom was dramatic and attention-seeking, and that she was a gold digger since her mom is poor and an immigrant. Really disgusting things. My dad has tried to keep the peace by forcing all of us to attend family lunches. I may be 22, but I will not let my mom go alone to these awful lunches, so therefore I am forced to go too. After seeing my mom cry again, feeling guilty for causing so much trouble, I confronted my dad yesterday. After he tried to defend his side of the family, I got in his face and yelled that his whole side of the family is dead to me and that I never want to see their faces again. I told him he is an awful husband for not siding with his own wife, and if he continues to force us to attend more family functions, I will go no contact with him. He has not spoken to me since, and my mom thinks I may have overreacted a bit, but I think it is very justified. I am writing this while blocking and making sure none of his family members can contact me again, but I am starting to feel bad about yelling at my dad, so I need a fresh perspective on this, to be honest. Update. I know it has been a few days since my first post. I have read through every comment and message I have gotten. Thank you for the supportive ones and the not so supportive ones, as they opened my eyes to a lot of things I had denied myself. I want to try to clarify a few things. We are originally from South America, but we do not live there anymore. We moved here when I was 5. Most of my dad's family lives in this country, and that is a big part of why we moved here as well. The culture here is that family is very, very vital. We have big families, and of course, being ostracized brings a lot of questions, judgment, and loneliness. Now, I do not want to fuel more hate toward my dad, but to those saying he is a weirdo, you are in fact correct. My mom got pregnant with me at 23 when my dad was 34. He made her drop out of college, isolated her from her family, and did not marry her until they had my brother. Yes, I do have a brother. He is 14 years old. Sorry for not mentioning him earlier, but I am not on speaking terms with him since he fully supports my dad's actions and has for some years now. Now, for the update on how everything is going, my mom is finally considering divorce. I showed her the post and she was so relieved that other people were on her side, though a bit mad at me for airing our business online. Someone mentioned alimony and it opened our eyes because, of course, she is entitled to it. She does not have a job, and we have a detailed timeline alongside witnesses proving she was forced to drop out of university and had job opportunities denied by my dad. We also have a strong case of past physical abuse. My dad kicked her while she was pregnant with me and almost caused a miscarriage and cheating. We are moving quietly while my mom tries to get as much support and resources as we can, but we are on a good path. She plans that in a few months, she will move in with me after serving my dad divorce papers so that he cannot do anything. We are still consulting with a lawyer. To the people concerned about my finances, I do have a nice job, and my mom's side of the family, the siblings she has left, are so supportive of her that they are aiding her financially and have offered to cover legal fees. I do not want to divulge more information, and I probably will not update for a while, but I just wanted to thank every single one of you for helping me not feel so crazy and alone. I cannot promise that my mom will go no contact with my dad since they do still have my brother, but I am hoping everything goes according to plan. Once again, thank you so much and wish us luck. Villa of the Wolves said, I cannot imagine being with a partner who allowed his family to disrespect me like that. I am glad they have an escape plan. To this, Unzun Zep said, well, if he kicked her when she was pregnant, allowing the disrespect seems minimal. Turuyal said, the first thing I did after reading those ages was to do the math. The father would be a piece of work for just that, but assaulting a pregnant woman. I cannot help but wonder if it was because she was pregnant or because she was pregnant with a girl. He may have backed off a little once he had a boy, especially now that we know his precious son is an annoying golden child little brother who sides with the father and paternal family. This third post was made in the same subreddit by a user named Cold Bowl of Nothing. The post is titled, In-Laws Straining My Marriage, but it's my fault apparently. First post, so bear with me. About a year ago, I, a 28-year-old woman, and my husband, a 30-year-old man, allowed my brother-in-law, who is 19, to move in with us to get him out of a rough situation and help him start adulting. This was about May of last year. I agreed to have him move in with the promise from my brother-in-law and husband that it was only going to be a couple of months until he found a roommate to move out with. He was also supposed to pay some rent monthly as he has a full-time job now, keep his area clean, and help help out around the house. Keep in mind, I have 2 children under the age of 5, I also work, and I am still the housekeeper, cleaning, cooking food, etc. Meanwhile, my husband works about 60 hours a week. Fast forward those couple of months, no luck on finding a roommate. My brother-in-law was still living with us. Okay, he is young. I decided to give him some more time to figure this out. I am trying to be understanding and gracious, as I also had some help getting on my feet at this age. I have confronted my brother-in-law a few times asking, "So how is the roommate search going? Have you found an apartment yet?" Only to be answered with shrugs and "I don't know." I will say at this point I am starting to feel in the dark about what is actually going on. As in, is there even a plan for him to move out? Is he even looking for a roommate or an apartment? My husband says to just give him more time and that he is working on it. Frustrated, it is Christmas time now, and my brother-in-law is requesting to have his girlfriend of 2 years, who lives out of state, move in too, with the promise that she has a job and that they will move out in 1 month. I tell my husband that I am not comfortable with it, as my brother-in-law was not supposed to be here at this time in the first place. My husband says I am overreacting and starts making comments to make me sound like I do not care about his family. Angry, I just shut down and keep my mouth shut to avoid an argument. My next mistake. Girlfriend moves in and surprise, surprise, she does not have a job and claims she has been looking for one for 3 months now since living under my roof. Fast forward to now. Rent is not being paid anymore, the cleaning of their own areas has stopped, and there has been absolutely no effort to find a way to move out of my home. I have quit asking my brother-in-law questions to keep myself from being furious and instead have directed the questions toward my husband. At this point, I am done trusting that my husband has any plan or control in this whole situation, which is driving me insane. Anytime I bring it up to my husband, I am met with hostility and accusations of just wanting to throw his family out on the street, and that I should not be upset because I agreed to it. Agreed to what? Yes, I agreed to my brother-in-law moving in for a couple of months. Yes, I graciously gave him extra time to figure things out. At this point, I no longer feel comfortable in my own home. And every day my husband and I argue about it, which always turns into very ugly outcomes. We do not even sleep in the same bed anymore. I am annoyed that I have been conned into taking on 2 grown adults while trying to raise my own family. I am angry that I am being made out to be the bad guy when all I wanted was to be helpful. I do not know what to do anymore. I guess my main question to the Reddit world is, am I the asshole because I let this all happen in the first place? Update. My brother-in-law, who is 19, and his girlfriend have overstayed their welcome in my home. I am 28 and my husband is 30. Over 10 months for my brother-in-law and over 3 months for his girlfriend. I was conned into the whole situation when both my husband and brother-in-law said it would only be for a couple of months, which was last May. Rent has stopped being paid, cleaning of their own areas has stopped, and there has been no attempt by them to leave my home. I am uncomfortable in my own home, and my husband absolutely blows up at me anytime I bring it up, accusing me of hating his family and wanting to throw them out on the street. Am I the asshole? First, I would like to say thank you all for the different perspectives. Most of all, the responses said I should just kick all 3 of them out and say good riddance. I will say some of the responses gave me a good little laugh in this extremely frustrating situation, so thank you for that too. Taking everything into consideration, I gave my husband an ultimatum last night, and I am sticking to it. They need to be gone by June 1st with all rent paid according to how I had laid it out, or else I am moving out with the kids into an apartment. I am also not cooking for them. All laundry detergents and toiletries will be kept in my closet, and internet passwords will be changed. Now, before I get 2 months is too much time for them, hear me out. This is also time for me to get my ducks in a row should I actually be moving out. Which in theory, I will know by mid-May if they are not moving out and if they do not have anything lined up by then. I really do doubt my husband wants this to actually happen, me and the kids moving out, but I would not put it past him thinking that I am bluffing. All in all, I hope it does not have to come to that point. I am happy to learn though, after sketching a quick budget, that I would be able to support myself and both of my children with my own income if worse came to worst. Thanks again. Update 2. My brother-in-law, who is 19, has overstayed his welcome at my home, where I am 28, for a year now. He moved in his girlfriend, who was not paying rent. She has been under my roof for 3 months with no job, and neither one of them has contributed to the house. I work, have 2 kids under the age of 5, and am at my wit's end. My husband, who is 30, yells at me constantly for wanting to kick them out and says it is not that bad. Am I the asshole? So here we are getting really close to the 1st of June, and yes, they are still living in my house. Here is where things are getting gray for me, and I need all the advice possible. I was recently diagnosed with stage 2 hypertension and am working on getting that under control. I have chronic anxiety and experience rolling panic attacks that last for up to a week, sometimes twice a year. Since my last post, I had a 4-day episode as well as the diagnosis. The doctor says I am far too young to have a diastolic pressure chilling at 97 and that I will be dead in 15 years if I do not make changes now. Since then, I have been stepping back and focusing on myself, getting healthy, losing weight, etc. With that said, my husband has been a lot nicer to me and helping out around the house so I can focus on myself and my kids. The constant shouting has basically stopped, the gaslighting is non-existent, and for once I actually feel confident about my future. Since the diagnosis, the energy in my house has completely changed and what I feel may be for the better. My brother-in-law's girlfriend got a full-time job at the end of last month and, to my surprise, has been sticking to it. Also, rent has been paid since I laid down the law back in March. They have picked up the cleaning routine, buy their own groceries, and actually seem to be doing well for themselves. Shoot, the girlfriend has even been helping me out with the kids if I seem too stressed. They are actively looking at apartments and attempting to move out, but it looks like they want to push out the June 1st deadline. Would I be showing myself as a doormat if I let them have a couple more weeks? Or is it my obligation to follow through with the deadline I gave in the beginning? I have a feeling my husband did have a lot to do with them getting their act together, which I am grateful for. Kinda sucks that I have to risk a stroke in order to get through to him, though that is another topic for a different day, I think. Next morning update, I put my kids down for the night last night and brought the deadline up to my husband again. I calmly asked, "Hey, June 1st is coming up, any progress?" He said, "No." I asked, "Are you going to talk to them about it?" He said, "No." Then he flipped, really bad, started yelling at me at the top of his lungs. I told him we had an agreement and then he basically told me to hell with the agreement. I lost it, guys. I told him it was obvious he does not care about me or my feelings and that he is welcome to leave with them too. He said, "Okay, tell me when you want me out." I told him June 1st was already the date. He shut down, stopped talking. He stormed out the door and said he was not going to fight about it tonight. I tried calling and messaging him, but there was no response. He turned off his location. He came back late last night, but did not say a word. He woke up this morning and then tried to small talk with me, like nothing happened. I ignored it all, not because I am trying to be petty, but because I genuinely do not know how to process this. My oldest woke up today and asked, "Why is daddy not staying at our house anymore?" So knowing that my 4-year-old heard all of this commotion is devastating me. Dubious people pleaser said they were not being nice because of the health scare, they were being nice so she would push the deadline. User adlib said, "Calling it now, when she finally gets all 3 of them out of her goddamn house, her health will immediately get better, and she will have an easier time managing the home, even though she is in the process of divorce. Also, she will realize she does not love her husband anymore because her health literally got better the second he was out of her goddamn house." Thank you so much for making it to the end of the video, and thank you also to partner of the channel, GamerSupps. Use code DLAM to support the channel and get 10% off of your purchase, link in the description. I'm sure many of you like me have a hankering for daily caffeine, so go check them out. Lately, I've been a big fan of Titty Milk and Acid Rain, but they've got dozens of other flavors for y'all to try out. Anyway, thanks again for reaching the end, and I hope you all have an amazing passage of the next 24 hours.